Hi everybody. So in this video, we're going to look at how we can work with negative powers. We're going to work through examples 1 and 2, and then we'll try some exam style questions. If you want to work along with me in this video, you can download a copy of a PDF from my website. I'll leave a link in the description below. So there's a really simple rule for working with negative powers, and I want to show you where this rule comes from. If we have, for instance, 5 to the power of negative 1, well, this is exactly the same as 5 to the power of 0 minus 1. And now we can use the division rule of indices to write this as a fraction. This will give us 5 to the 0 divided by 5 to the 1, because when we apply the division rule, we subtract these powers. So I covered that in a previous video, and I'll leave a link to that in the description below. So 5 to the 0, and any base to the power of 0 will always be 1. So this will be 1 for our numerator divided by 5 for our denominator. Okay? If we have 2 to the power of negative 3, well, this will be the same as 2 to the power of 0 take away 3. And we can write this using the division rule as a fraction. This will be 2 to the 0 divided by 2 to the 3. Anything to the 0 is 1, and 2 cubed is 8. So in general then, if we have n to the power of negative a, this will always be the negative power will give us 1 over the base n to the power of a. And this is the rule that we'll be using throughout this video. So if we begin with question A, we've got 4 to the power of negative 1. Well, the negative will give us 1 over, and it will be 4 to the 1, which is 1 over 4. For question B, 2 to the negative 1, again the negative will give us 1 over, and that'd be 2 to the 1, so this will become 1 half. Question C, 3 to the power of negative 2, the negative will give us 1 over, and then we'll have 3 squared, this will be 9. Okay, so now we can write negative powers as a simplified fraction. We'll try the questions in example 2. So we'll begin with 3 over 2 to the negative 1. Well, we can write this as 3 divided by 2 to the negative 1. So 3 divided by the negative power will be 1 over, this will be 1 over 2, and 3 divided by a half is 6. Question B, 1 over x squared to the power of negative 3. And there's a couple of ways we can do this. But we know 1 over x squared is the same as x to the power of negative 2, which we're raising to the power of negative 3. And then we can use the power rule, which I covered in a previous video, to multiply these two powers together. So this will become x to the power of negative 2 multiplied by negative 3, which will give us x to the 6. And then for question C, we can write this using a negative power. This will become 10x to the power of negative 1. And all of this is then raised to a power of negative 2. So again, using my power rule, we can multiply the negative 1 and the negative 2. So this will become 10x squared. And then we can expand that with brackets, so we get 10 squared and x squared. Okay? Let's try some exam style questions. So perhaps you want to try these questions yourself. You can pause the video, and when you come back, we'll go through the solutions. Okay, so welcome back. So for question 1, we can write 1 over 4 as 2 to the y will equal 4 to the power of negative 1. Now we know 4 can be written as 2 squared. So it'll be 2 to the y times 2 squared to the power of negative 1. And then we can use the power rule to multiply these together. So we get 2 to the y will equal 2 to the negative 2. And now because the bases are the same, the powers must be the same. So y will equal -2. And then for question 2, we can write 1 over 32 as 32 to the power of -1. And as a power of 2, well, 32 is the same as 2 to the power of 5, which we're raising to a -1. We'll multiply these powers together, and we get 2 to the -5. And then for question 3, we can expand these out, so we get 2 to the -2 multiplied by x to the -3 raised to the power of -2. We know 2 to the -2 will give us 1 over 4. When we multiply these together, we get x to a +6. So this will give us 1/4 x to the 6. Okay, well, thank you very much for watching. I hope you found that useful. If you did find that helpful, please like and subscribe. And you can download the full lesson and the PDF that accompanies this video from my website, mrmathematics.com. I'll leave a link in the description below.